revealed how a janitor's daughter exposed the wrong formula, saving a life-changing $300 million. Lily Turner stood on the edge of something monumental, her heart pounding like the city's pulse outside her cramped apartment. As the sun dipped behind the skyscrapers of downtown Chicago, painting the skyline in hues of orange and pink, she felt the weight of her dreams shimmering brightly in the twilight. At just 17, she was determined to forge a new path, armed with hope and a fierce will that only a janitor's daughter could possess. Her father, Mike, had spent countless nights sharing his struggles with her. He worked tirelessly at Mercy Hospital, cleaning the very corridors where the light of hope flickered for so many. "You have to stand up for what's right, even if you're the smallest voice in the room," he'd say, his hands calloused from labor, but his spirit unyieldingly strong. Lily took those lessons to heart, her mind always buzzing with questions about the world around her. Then came the announcement. Their hospital was partnering with a major pharmaceutical company to launch a revolutionary drug, billed as a miracle. As the promotional banners adorned the lobby, boasting promises of longevity and health, Lily felt a tug in her gut. With her keen interest in science, she decided her school project would focus on the drug's chemistry. The excitement of discovery rushed through her veins like caffeine. But as she studied the formula, that initial excitement morphed into dread. "Something's not right," she whispered to herself, poring over pages, circling discrepancies. Terrifying possibilities unfolded in her mind, the lives at stake. Fear curled tight in her chest, but Mike's voice echoed, urging her to question the status quo. She couldn't ignore this. Mustering all her courage, she took the plunge, bravely presenting her findings at a community meeting. Faces turned toward her, filled with anticipation, but the air quickly thickened with tension. The pharmaceutical executives, slick and polished, sneered down at her, dismissing her as just a janitor's daughter. Her classmates, who once reverently admired her brilliance, now stood silent. She felt exposed, like she had stripped off her armor, and the chill of rejection enveloped her. Closing her eyes, Lily sought strength in her pain, remembering her father's struggles. The pain of feeling invisible washed over her, but it sparked a flame within. The community began to murmur, whispers turning into conversations about the drug's potential dangers. Their shared struggles unearthed a resilience that fueled a grassroots movement. Families rallied, standing together, united by the belief that they deserved better, a voice to be heard. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow.
If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. As the community bonded, something shifted, igniting a movement that spread through their neighborhood like wildfire. Yet Lily stood at a crossroads. Her heart raced, the stakes climbing higher with each passing moment. This was no longer just about uncovering a flawed drug. It was about their dignity, their future. The executives were powerful, but so was the truth. Now, Lily felt the ground tremble beneath her. Would she bend under the pressure, or would she rise like the skyscrapers, unyielding and defiant against the tide? With everything on the line, she prepared to unleash her voice, knowing it might change everything. Could integrity and perseverance truly challenge the might of power? The question lingered, pulling the reader in, desperate to know what would come next. The next community meeting was a cauldron of mixed emotions. As Lily entered the small hall, she could sense the weight of every gaze upon her. This time, the crowd felt different. They were there not just to listen, but to stand behind her, their faces filled with determination. Hope flickered like the dim overhead lights, and she breathed in the palpable energy. Lily approached the podium, her hands shaking slightly as she grasped the edges. The room had grown in size. More people had come since her last speech. Her heart raced, threatening to drown out her thoughts. But taking a deep breath, she remembered Mike's words. "Stand up for what's right," echoed in her mind, counteracting the fear clawing at her insides. "Thank you all for being here," she started, her voice wavering at first, but then steadying. "Tonight, we're not just here to talk about a drug. We're here to demand accountability, safety, and truth." The murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd, and she felt encouraged enough to share her findings in earnest. She laid bare the discrepancies she had uncovered, the ingredients that shouldn't mix, the lethal potential, the ignored warnings. She showed them the charts she'd painstakingly drawn, the data that painted a grim picture. "I know I'm young," she continued, "and maybe I don't fit the mold of what you think a scientist should be, but I care. Our families' lives, your lives, matter more than boardroom profits. We've got to speak up." After her presentation, the energy in the room shifted again. One by one, voices erupted from the crowd, sharing their own experiences, their fears. A mother spoke of her son, how he'd been excited for the trial only to feel uneasy about the reports. Another man mentioned a neighbor whose health had declined after receiving the drug.
It was as if a dam had burst, releasing years of silence. They discussed who they could contact, lawyers and organizations that specialized in medical safety. The crowd was no longer just watching. They were becoming active participants in this fight. Lily felt a spark ignite within her. She led the group in drafting a petition, their signatures flowing like a river across the paper. Each name represented a life, a family, a story woven into the fabric of their community. For every voice added, she felt stronger, more sure of her position. This was more than just her fight. She was rallying the hearts of everyone who felt powerless against the monolith of corporate greed. As they wrapped up, a sense of solidarity filled the hall, a force that coursed through their veins. They were bound together by a shared purpose, by fear transformed into determination. Yet, as Lily walked home under the canopy of streetlights, her heart full but her mind restless, she knew the battle was just beginning. The pharmaceutical company would not back down quietly. The thought seeped in like a shadow, darkening her resolve just a bit. "Whatever they throw at us, we'll stand strong," she whispered to herself, squeezing her fists as if to clutch that resolve tightly. But what Lily didn't expect was a taste of retaliation so swift it would leave her breathless. The next day would test everything she believed in. It would drop her into the depths of despair and force her to grapple with the very real cost of truth. Now anxiety turned to urgency. How far would the pharmaceutical executives go to silence her? What sacrifices would she need to make to protect her community? She walked the rest of the way home, her heart still racing under the weight of those chilling questions. The sun had barely crested the horizon when Lily's phone buzzed violently on her bedside table. She squinted at the screen, the harsh light burning her eyes. A message from Sachin popped up. "They know about the petition. Get to the cafe. It's urgent." Heart pounding, she threw on a sweatshirt and dashed out the door. The cafe was a local hub, a place where the community gathered, and today it felt more like a war room. As she entered, she saw Sachin huddled in a corner, his expression a mix of fear and urgency. "What's going on?" she asked, sliding into the seat across from him. "We've got a problem," he said, glancing around as if expecting spies to emerge from the shadows. "What do you mean, spilled the beans?" He leaned in closer. "They found out about the petition. They're not happy, let's just say that. Rumors are flying that they're going to fight back hard. They know you're the one pushing this." Lily's stomach nodded. "What does that mean for me? They're already working to discredit you."
I overheard one of their lawyers say they're looking at ways to paint you as, I don't know, a reckless youth or something. A bitter laugh escaped her lips. "Reckless? I'm trying to save lives." I know. Sachin placed a comforting hand on hers. "But they don't care about that. You know the damage they could do. They have resources, power. They're not just going to let you ruin their plans without a fight." Lily's mind raced. If they attacked her character, how could she lead the fight? What do I do? "We need to get ahead of this. We have to build a defense, a reputation. Talk to the others, gather support. But we need to be smart about it. This is bigger than just us." Right. As fear gripped her, a flicker of determination ignited. She wasn't going to bow down to corporate giants. There had to be a way to turn this around. "Let's call a meeting," she said, her voice growing stronger. "Get the people together. Remind them why we're doing this." Sachin nodded resolutely. "Good. We need everyone's voice to combat what they're planning." After a brief brainstorming session, they left the cafe, driven by an urgency coursing through their veins. But just as the warm sun began to evaporate the morning chill, a chilling sight met Lily's eyes upon stepping outside. A sleek car, black and imposing, sat parked across the street. A man in a crisp suit, sunglasses hiding his intentions, stared directly at her, seemingly waiting. Lily's heart raced, an uneasy feeling washing over her. Who was this man, and why was he watching her? It was a message. Their eyes were on her, and they intended to make her life hell.
As she walked away, a swarm of thoughts invaded her mind. Would they threaten her? Or worse, she had taken a stand, but now it felt like she was at the edge of a precipice with no safety net beneath. The stakes were rising, and she couldn't help but wonder what would come next. Would she be able to unite the community in time before the darkness descended, or would fear drive them apart? Lily took a deep breath, steeling herself for the storm to come. She would fight. She had to. There was too much at stake. But as the man's gaze pierced through her resolve, she felt the gravity of her choice. Somehow, she would have to find a way to shield them all from the storm looming ahead. What lengths would she go to protect her community? And would she be able to withstand the onslaught when it finally came? Lily felt the weight of the man's stare long after she had left the cafe. The world around her became a blur, the usual sounds of the bustling street fading into a dull hum. She needed to focus. The meeting was crucial. Her friends would be gathering at Mama Rosa's, the old diner that served the best pancakes in town, and she couldn't let fear win. As the door swung open, the familiar ding of the bell above it pulled her back to reality. She slid into a booth and took a deep breath, steadying herself.
One by one, the usual faces began to fill the small space, each person choosing a seat, but it wasn't their comfort she sought. It was their courage. Sachin arrived first, his face still taut with tension. "Okay, everyone's here," he said, shifting his weight as if bracing for impact. The crowd settled, eyes scanning Lily expectantly. "We need to talk," she began, glancing around at the determined faces, some filled with determination, others tinged with doubt. "They're coming for us. They know about the petition. They want to discredit me. Us." A murmur rippled through the group. Lily felt her heart race. Their fear was palpable. "We can't let them do that. This fight is about more than just me. It's about our community. It's about our future." "Mama Rosa believes in what we're doing," Sachin added, cutting through the unease. "She's even offered to let us use the diner for meetings now that the cafe feels too risky. We need to build a case. We need to be loud, visible." A voice from the back spoke up, the soft yet firm tone of Jessa, a single mother whose 3 children attended the local school. "But what if they retaliate against us? I can't risk losing my job. I'm barely scraping by as it is." Lily felt the flinch in her own heart. Everyone had something to lose. "I get that. Trust me, I do. But if we don't stand together," she urged, her voice rising, "then we might lose everything. Our homes, our families, and our rights. We can't let fear paralyze us." There was a tense silence, thoughts hanging in the air like a tightrope. Then Sachin turned to Jessa. "What if we had a public gathering, a rally where we share facts, show them we're united?" Lily nodded enthusiastically. "Yes, it would raise awareness, draw in support. We can invite members of the media, encourage people to come and share personal stories. But how do we begin? We're not professionals," Jessa countered. "We don't have to be," Lily replied, her conviction strengthening. "This is about real lives and real issues. We are the experts in our own experiences. The voices matter. If we each share why we're here, we can make an impact." As the layers of doubt began to fade, there was a light in the room. One by one, people began to voice their commitment. The strong-willed spirit of the diner ignited, sparking laughter and renewed hope. But as the conversation grew, Lily's heart still thudded with anxiety. That man in the car remained a phantom in her mind, a terrifying reminder of the risks they faced. "We'll need to be careful," Sachin said later, breaking the energy that had built. "Yes, Sachin is right," Lily replied, feeling the air grow still. "We need to strategize and stay one step ahead. This is about more than just a petition. It's about our lives. We can do this." The gathered crowd shared determined nods, but as the meeting wrapped up, Lily felt a tension linger.
What if they didn't have enough time? What if the shadow of the corporation loomed too large? Just as she stood to leave, a soft voice from the corner called her name. Turning, she found an old friend she hadn't seen in years, someone she had thought was lost to the past. "Lily, can I speak to you?" The familiar face brought a swirl of emotions, love, confusion, nostalgia. It was a voice she hadn't expected to hear, and with it came a flood of unanswered questions. What could this friend possibly want? Did it have anything to do with the fight ahead? They have money, power. And we have each other, Mia interjected. We can gather evidence, bring it to light, maybe even get the media involved. Your plans for the rally? What if we turn it into something bigger? For a brief moment, hope flickered in Lily's heart, fighting against the heaviness closing around it. If we could just get the information, she said, contemplating the possibilities. A sudden honk from a passing car broke their concentration, and both women turned instinctively to look. The man from the cafe flashed through Lily's mind, the looming threat, the chill running down her spine. Mia, we need to be careful. If they find out we're onto them... I know, Mia said, her expression firming. But if we let fear hold us back now, we lose everything. For our kids, our families, our homes, we owe it to ourselves to expose the truth. Lily nodded, the fire in her chest igniting again. Okay, let's do this. As they started to plan, a question loomed in the air between them. Would their fight for justice be worth the risk they were about to take? In that moment, Lily realized their lives were about to collide with not just the battle for their rights, but a fight for their very existence. Whatever lay ahead would test them beyond their fears. What dark truths would they uncover, and could their friendship survive amid the chaos? The wind picked up as Lily and Mia stood in front of the diner, the evening air filled with tension and urgency. With one small shiver, the chill that spread through Lily wasn't purely from the breeze. It stemmed from a mix of fear and determination. She remembered their endless chatter from years past, filled with dreams too big for the small town. That feeling bubbled up again, sparking a long dormant hope in her chest. Okay, what do we need to do first? Lily asked, her fists clenching at her sides. The thought of standing united against the company that had cast a long shadow over their community filled her with a fierce sense of purpose. Mia stepped back slightly, her mind racing. We need to gather as much information as we can. If your plan for the rally is still on, we can use that as a platform to start. We'll need to reach out to others who might know something. Anyone who's worked there, anyone who has seen something unusual. Lily nodded, adrenaline spiking. I still have the contacts from the last protest. I'll reach out to them. If we can find even a few people willing to talk, we might find a way in. Mia smiled, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. I'll talk to my dad. He might not know everything, but he hears things. We can keep this between us for now. Nobody else needs to know until we have something solid. If they find out we're snooping... The unspoken threat hung heavy in the air, filling the space with dread. Let's get moving, Lily urged, turning on her heel. Every moment counts.
As they walked toward Mia's car, Lily's mind raced, not just with their plans, but with flashbacks rolling in like waves. The schoolyard where they laughed, the park benches where they shared their dreams, moments that felt like they belonged to another life. But that past flooded her with strength. She knew that if they were working towards something good, something that could make a difference, she would do anything to protect their dreams. They drove in silence, the rhythmic beat of tires on asphalt a steady backdrop to the tumult of thoughts swirling inside Lily's head. She wanted to believe they could change things, but familiar shadows of doubt crawled across her mind. Mia finally spoke up, breaking the stillness. You remember when we used to play detectives? How we thought we could solve anything? Lily chuckled at the memory, the first beam of light cutting through her worry. Yeah, and we were always the heroes, except it was all in our heads. Maybe it's time we put our dreams into action for real, Mia said, her voice suddenly serious again. It's not just about us anymore, it's for everyone. They pulled into the driveway of Mia's house, the warm glow from the windows offering a hint of comfort. But inside, Lily felt the weight of the world draping over her shoulders. The stakes were high. The lives of their friends and families were in jeopardy, and it was up to them. Once inside, Mia went straight to her dad's room, leaving Lily to pace the living room. The walls were crowded with photographs, happy memories, a family raised with love. But what if that love was threatened? She had to find the fire burning inside her, that childlike fairy tale hero, or else they might just let it all slip away. Minutes felt like hours when Mia returned, the fatigue in her eyes evident. He said he's heard some unsettling things, and he doesn't feel safe anymore. Lily's heart sank, but she squeezed Mia's hand. Then we'll protect each other. We'll go public. What if they retaliate? Mia's voice broke slightly. It won't matter if we coordinate our next steps. No one can silence us if we stand together. That resolve, the decision to enter the storm ahead, surged through Lily. The rush to expose the truth, to fight for their community, outweighed her fears. But the night was still young, and the first move always came with consequences. As darkness enveloped the neighborhood, a distant car engine rumbled ominously. Someone was watching, someone who wanted to keep them silent. Lily turned to Mia, her heartbeat quickening. What if they already know we're on to them? The stakes had just risen. How far were they really willing to go to seek justice?
Lily's breath caught in her throat. The low growl of the engine crept closer, making the hairs on her neck stand up. They didn't have time to waste. Not now. Not when they were on the verge of something so critical.
Every instinct screamed for them to disappear, to find cover, but she gripped Mia's hand tighter instead. "Think we should?" Mia whispered, scanning the street. Her eyes darted to every shadow, every flicker of movement. "No," Lily interrupted, shaking her head. "We need to stay put. They can't know we're afraid." Mia looked at her, uncertainty flashing in her eyes. Lily's heart raced, a mix of bravery and fear flooding her. They had to stand firm. This wasn't just about them. It was about the people they loved. The engine stopped. A car door slammed shut, echoing in the stillness of the suburban night. "Do you see anything?" Lily whispered, her voice almost lost in the tension of the moment. Mia squinted into the darkness. "I can't tell, but I think," she hesitated, "there's movement near the streetlight." Lily's heart pounded louder than the approaching footsteps. Whoever it was, they were getting closer. "We should go," she urged, but her feet felt glued to the floor. "We can't," Mia insisted, glancing nervously at the door leading to the kitchen. "If that's someone from the company, then we have to find a way to warn everyone. There's no going back now." With a sudden burst of courage, Lily turned toward the front window. Just as she crouched down to peep through the curtain, a shadow passed by, drawing a shiver down her spine. The silhouette stopped, inches from their door. They held their breath as the figure appeared momentarily illuminated by the streetlight. "It's him," Mia whispered, recognizing the tall frame. "That's Mr. Klein, the security guy from the factory." Lily's heart raced. What's he doing here? She felt a jolt of panic settle into her gut. Was he here to intimidate them, or was he the bearer of urgent news? With a resolute nod, Mia steeled herself. "I'll go out and ask you. He might know something." "No!" Lily's voice shot up, fear overcoming her judgment. "What if he's here to silence us? We have to be smart about this." Mia poked back, frustration coloring her features. "We're already in this deep. Ignoring it won't make it go away." Lily's brain raced, frantically searching for a way to defuse the situation while keeping their movement alive. "Let's create a distraction," she suggested. "Get him talking while we gather more information." A flash of determination sparked in Mia's eyes. "Okay, but if it goes south, we split." "Deal," Lily replied, and an unexpected sense of unity coursed through them. They had each other's backs. Standing straight, Mia opened the door just enough to peek out. "Mr. Klein!" His head snapped around, a flicker of surprise crossing his face. "What are you two doing out so late?" "Just hanging out," Mia responded, her voice steadier than she felt. "We were worried about the factory, heard some weird stuff is happening." He hesitated, an unseen battle crossing his features. "You shouldn't be out here. It's not safe. Is that why you're here?"
Lily chimed in, her voice breaking slightly. "To warn us?" His eyes darted between the two girls, weighing his options. "You shouldn't get involved. It's beyond you." Something about the way he spoke tipped off Lily. There was more beneath his words. She could feel the pulse of danger wrapping tighter around them, and it made her heart pound louder than the stillness of the night. "But we won't back down," she declared, the words spilling out like a dam breaking. "We're fighting for our town." Mr. Klein's gaze darkened. "You have no idea what you're up against." The shadows shifted behind him, and suddenly both girls felt the weight of his warning demand their full attention. Before they could respond, the sound of another engine roared down the street, this one more ominous. Lily glanced at Mia, their eyes wide in realization. They weren't just fighting for justice anymore. They were playing a dangerous game. How far could they really go before someone else decided to play dirty? As the headlights approached, illuminating the street like a spotlight of inevitability, the panic returned full force. Lily felt the moment shift. Their dedication was now tangled with an eerie sense of dread. "Ready?" Mia whispered, barely able to keep her voice steady. "Ready as we'll ever be," Lily replied, her heart racing as they braced for whatever came next. Would they step into the light, or were they about to be swallowed by darkness? The answer loomed just outside their door. Mia barely had a moment to think before the car came to a halt. The headlights illuminated the front of their house, casting long shadows that danced along the walls. Lily could see Mr. Klein's posture shift as the sound of the engine faded, replaced by the unmistakable slamming of another car door. "Stay calm," she said, squeezing Mia's hand. "We can't let them see us panic." Mia nodded, her eyes straining to see who else might be with Mr. Klein. The tension stretched between them, a taut wire ready to snap. "What if they're not alone?" she whispered. "Then we need to know who they are. We can't just hide, not after everything we've uncovered," Lily replied, determination creeping into her voice. Mia took a deep breath, her mind racing. She had come this far and there was no turning back.
All right, let's just hope he's on our side. As if on cue, Mr. Klein shifted. You two need to get inside, he urged, his voice low and urgent. I know what you're trying to do, but you don't understand the consequences. Lily's pulse quickened. Mr. Klein, please, we have to know what's going on. We deserve to know the truth. The shadows seemed to whisper around them, and the air felt dense with unspoken fears. Mr. Klein glanced left and right, his eyes wide. You think you know what's best. You're risking everything. If they catch wind of this, you'll wish you hadn't asked. Mia felt a shiver run through her. We're not afraid. There are lives at stake here, not just ours. Lives?
You really don't understand, he snapped, the desperation in his tone curling the hairs on Lily's arms. There's more at stake than you realize. If they trace this back to you... Beneath the weight of his warning, the sounds of footsteps echoed behind him. Another figure appeared, tall and menacing, lurking just beyond the light. Lily's heart dropped as she felt the surge of fear threatening to drown her resolve. Mr. Klein, who's that? She stammered, her voice barely above a whisper. He turned, his expression shifting to concern. Get inside now. But it was too late. The newcomers stepped forward, a smirk twisting their lips. Is that any way to treat friends, Mr. Klein? The realization hit hard. This wasn't just a warning anymore. They were cornered. Mia gripped Lily tighter, and they both took a half step back, ready to bolt inside. But then Mr. Klein turned to face the new arrival, his face an unreadable mask of fear and anger. Do what you must, he said, his voice low but loaded with defiance. But these girls aren't involved. The stranger chuckled, a cold sound that sent chills racing down Lily's spine. Oh, but they are. They're the only ones who matter now. Why? Mia blurted out, her voice trembling. What do you want with us? Let's just say there's a formula to be protected, he replied, gripping the doorframe with a fist that creaked ominously under the weight of it. And you girls, you're the perfect bait. A wave of horror washed over Lily. They were more than just witnesses in this twisted game. They had unknowingly walked into a web of danger far deeper than they could have imagined. Run, Mr. Klein growled suddenly, his voice fierce but quiet. Get back inside and call for help. You have to warn everyone before it's too late. The air thickened as confusion and fear collided within Lily. She glanced at Mia, whose eyes mirrored her own terror. Their breaths were shallow, quick, each heartbeat racing toward a point of no return. What could they possibly do next? Go, Mr. Klein shouted, pushing them toward the door. With a shared look of unspoken agreement, they turned to flee, the weight of the revelations crashing around them. As they stumbled to the door, Lily felt a cold tingle on the back of her neck. What had they just stepped into? And what dark truth lay ahead? The only certainty was a creeping sense of urgency. They could no longer be silent spectators in a dangerous game. Now they had to confront the shadows head-on, and above all, they had to find the answers before it was too late. Inside the house, the familiar scent of cinnamon filled the air, completely in contrast to the chaos outside. Lily and Mia stumbled into the living room, their hearts pounding like a war drum. The door had barely clicked shut when Mia turned back, her fingers gripping the cool metal knob as if it could protect them. They're coming for us, she whispered, her face pale. Lily squeezed her hand, remembering the look on Mr. Klein's face, the gravity of his warning. We can't stay here. We have to figure out what we're dealing with. They gazed around the room, scanning for evidence, something that could help them comprehend the mess they had accidentally landed in. It felt surreal that just moments ago they were ordinary girls, and now they were crucial players in a cat-and-mouse game of life and death. Where's your dad? Mia asked, searching for a distraction from their mounting dread. He should be home by now. He usually gets in around this time. Lily's voice trailed off, a sinking feeling settling in her stomach. What if he doesn't come? Stop. We need to focus, Mia urged, pulling her back to reality. Mr. Klein mentioned a formula. What if it's the key? To key to what? To everything. Maybe it's why they're after us. If we can find out what it is, maybe we can expose it. An ear-splitting crash from outside sent them into a frantic scramble towards the window. Peeking out, they watched as the stranger, whose name they still didn't know, was now standing adjacent to Mr. Klein, shouting something. A figure in dark clothing was rifling through the trunk of a sleek black car. Wait, Lily grabbed Mia's arm. Is that? It looks like my dad's car, Mia gasped, her eyes widening. Fear knotted in Lily's chest. What if they found him? We have to warn him, she thought, panic rising. If they were coming after them because of the formula, he could be in danger too. Before they could plot their next move, the doorbell rang. It echoed through the house, and they shot each other worried glances. Who could that be?
Mia's voice trembled, filled with uncertainty. "There's only one way to find out," Lily replied, slowly moving towards the door. With every step, the pounding in her chest grew louder. She steeled herself, her heart taking on a rhythm of its own. Drawing a deep breath, she swung the door open, only to find a woman in a white lab coat standing there, nerves flaring in her pale blue eyes. "Lily, I need your help. There's no time to explain." "Who are you?" Lily demanded, snapping the door wider. "I'm Dr. Harris. I knew your father well. We need to talk, now." The urgency in her tone sent chills down Lily's spine. Mia looked out the window, her expression growing alarmed. "They're coming, Lily. We have to hurry." With a fierce nod, Lily stepped aside, letting Dr. Harris inside. This was it. Everything was about to change. "Listen to me," Dr. Harris said once the door was shut. "The formula thereafter, it's not just dangerous. It could shift the balance of power worldwide. You girls are the linchpin. If we don't act now, I don't know how this will end." A rush of confusion swept over them, drowning Lily in questions. "But why us?" "Because you are closer to the truth than you realize," Dr. Harris answered, raising a hand to silence Lily's flood of inquiries.
"And you might be the only ones who can stop it." Just then, the sound of footsteps grew louder, and the front door quivered under the force of a powerful knock. "They're here!" Mia gasped, eyes darting towards the back door. "Quick, this way!" Lily urged, feeling the urgency ripple through her veins. They dashed toward the back of the house, hearts racing as the first thud of the intruders echoed in their ears. What lay ahead felt like a precipice, one that could either reveal the truth or plunge them deeper into darkness. Would they find the strength to uncover the secret of the formula, or would it lead to their undoing? A new journey loomed ahead, one that insisted they confront not only those who sought to silence them, but the fear within themselves. As they bolted outside, a chill ran through the air. They had become pawns in a game larger than they imagined. Could they outsmart their pursuers and decipher the truth before the truth devoured them? The moon loomed overhead as Lily and Mia sprinted into the tangled underbrush, their hearts racing and breaths lightning fast. The night felt alive with danger, every rustle and snap of twigs sending shivers coursing through their bodies. Lily's mind buzzed fiercely. Could they truly uncover the truth of the formula before the shadows closed in around them? "We need to keep moving," Lily urged, her throat tight as they dashed away from the house. "The back fence is close. We might be able to find a way to cross into the old industrial site behind my house." Mia nodded, determination knitting her brow. "Once we're across, we can hide in the storage units. Nobody goes there anymore. They might not think to check for us." They ducked beneath leafy branches, their bodies brushing through dim pathways illuminated only by glimmers of moonlight filtering through the leaves. Fear chased them, weaving its way around every thought as the pounding footsteps of dangers lingered like ghosts just behind them. Suddenly, a loud crash erupted behind them, an ominous confirmation of their fears. "Have you ever felt something like this?" Mia whispered, eyes wide with urgency. Lily glanced over her shoulder, urgency igniting. "Only every day of my life, Mia, but this time we can't let them win, not now." As they neared the old iron fence that had long become a barrier to forgotten memories, they could see the storage units just ahead, dark and looming, yet somehow strangely comforting. "Over there," Mia pointed, breathless with excitement. They sprinted toward the units, slipping through a gap in the rusted metal that creaked under their weight. Inside the storage unit, the darkness enveloped them. "We need to catch our breath," Lily said, pressing her back against the cold metal wall. "But what do we do next? We can't just hide forever." Mia bit her lip, considering, what if we find a way to leverage the truth? Us being here is far from coincidental. "Doctor."
Harris mentioned the formula could change everything, shift power dynamics. We might have enough substantial evidence with her help to expose them to the world. "You're right," Lily exclaimed, her heart catching up with her spirit. "Let's gather what we can from her, rally our community, everyone who believes in us. They can't silence the truth about the formula if we bring it to light." Mia nodded, her resolve steepening. "But first, we need to stay under radar. We can't let them catch word of our intentions. Let's head to Dr. Harris's lab in the morning. If anyone knows how to handle this, it's her." As night settled deeper, the shadows began to creep in, but the warmth of hope filled Lily's chest. "Yes, we'll find a way to protect everyone's lives." With newfound determination, they emerged from the unit just as the first rays of dawn peeked into the horizon. But footsteps interrupted their thoughts, heavy and menacing. "That's it!" shouted a voice, echoing across the nearly empty lot. "They must be close." Panic surged through Lily. "Quick, we need somewhere safe to hide, now!" In a whirl of urgency, they dashed back to the units, heartbeats matched in rapid sync. They flung themselves into a dark corner, breathless as the voices of pursuers faded into the distance. What if we don't make it out of this? Mia's voice trembled with uncertainty, the fear creeping back in the silence that enveloped them. Lily felt uncomfortable, choking feelings rear up, but she fought them down. "We can't think like that. We have to believe in the strength of our community. Together, we are powerful." With those words, they waited, hiding in the dark,
hearts set on the plan forming in their minds. Later that day, the sun hung high, illuminating the small abodes of their neighborhood, and as they placed themselves at the rally point, side by side, their hearts surged with purpose. Soon, faces emerged. Neighbors, friends, colleagues, everyone who once felt isolated. Their eyes were now lit with conviction. Lily stepped forward, her voice breaking the bubble of isolation. Today, we stand not just as individuals, but as a whole community. Together, we will demand justice, a chance for our lives and our children. And just like that, her voice, steady and unwavering, pushed through the fear that once bound them. Fingers joined, heads held high, they united not just against the shadows of corporate greed, but the very real fear that urged them to stay silent. With one collective oath, they marched forward, lighting the path of change through their humble town, ready to seize back the future they fought for. In that moment, the strength of connection filled them. It was no longer just about Lily and Mia. It represented everyone, every family, every broken promise they had vowed to protect. Because truth, as they discovered that day, the truth would always find a way to light the path. And with it, they had transformed fear into unparalleled strength.
With their voices joined together, Lily felt a warmth spread through her heart. The battle they had undertaken was no longer a lonely crusade. It was a fight for their families, their futures, and the world they wished to empower. As they stood together beneath the bright blue sky, they understood. Hope was the brightest weapon they had, and they would wield it fiercely against those who threatened their community. So they took a deep breath, ready to act, ready to rise, and they marched toward a future that finally felt within their grasp. This is the moment to respond. You need to subscribe now to avoid missing the next exclusive stories of courage and transformation that redefine our relationships. Leave a like now to show your support. Together, we can feed the algorithm and make sure these stories are heard far and wide. Comment your reactions and feelings about the journey of triumph and unity you just witnessed. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to feel the power of community as illuminated by Lily and the others. Your voice matters. Let's change the world together.